Hello, welcome to Dungeon Dwellers Podcast. I'm your host Justin, and today, for Halloween month 2021, we're reviewing the Goon, Volume 1, and Nothing But Misery, not Trouble. Written and illustrated by Eric Powell. So, if you haven't seen my Goon Volume 0 review, that's where you want to start because there's going to be spoilers from that book in this review. So make sure to check out my Halloween month 2020 reviews for Volume 0 because there's going to be spoilers in this review. Alright? Yeah, so this trade collects issues 1 through 4 of the new ongoing Goon series because the first series ended abruptly because he had to go to jail. Eric Powell, or at least that's what I hear. I don't know. I heard he went to jail for something, but when I tried to look up what he went to jail for, I couldn't find anything. So I don't know, man. So this is the back here, and this is published by Dark Horse Books, which apparently this series is now being published by Albatross Books. So you're gonna probably get a different price. I paid like $18.99 Canadian for this book, and it goes for like 17 US, right? But if you were to get this book now, it probably costs more. But maybe it would come with more issues, because like this only comes with like 4 issues, right? So the story for this one is basically the zombie priest, right, is trying to resurrect the G-Man that the Goon killed, right, in the previous book, right, because the G-Man, also Fishy Pete is back, who now has a gang of fishmen. Very Lovecraftian here. Oh, and it turns out this book takes place in 1932. It even says it right here. In it, the bees needs to hear fish skulls cracking against the finest machine-tooled, chrome-plated pipe wrench 1932 technology had to offer. So yeah, we got confirmations, 1932 here. Right, so yeah, the zombie priest, who is the main villain of this book, right, is trying to resurrect the G-Man. Which you also have another story here about this, like, haunted house that has, like, loot in it, but it's haunted by this cannibal inbred family, right? Which the Goon can't fight because they're ghosts, but he has like a trinket that a crazy old lady gave him. That's like cat's eyes around like dental floss that allows him to beat the shit out of ghosts, right? Yeah. Here's the zombie priest with the G-Man's head. While consorting Evitz, which is Steve backwards, this goat demon here, he's able to learn a spell or learn a way to resurrect the head, right? And the head of the G-Man gets resurrected in this ghoul's body, right? And it turns out that the zombie priest learns that the Goon had killed Labrazio and is using his name to run basically this town, which I forget the name of the town, right? Yeah. So like lots of action, lots of cool references and jokes. Oh, in this book they also introduced the Buzzard, which is this gunslinger character who is a foe of the zombie priest, who was basically a sheriff from the Wild Wild West that the zombie priest had turned everybody in his town into zombies, and he's now cursed with being a ghoul, but thanks to the zombie priest, which what a ghoul is basically like a monster that eats, like, the undead, right? Very different than in Tokyo Ghoul. The definition of a ghoul is like a monster that eats the flesh of the dead, right? And he eats zombies, right? So I thought, oh, in the flashbacks, you know, it's black and white, and the art style is a bit more realistic, but is somewhat cartoony, right? Really like this backstory sequence, right? Also, there's a Christmas issue in here, which is nice, where the Frankie and the Goon go to rescue these kids that are kidnapped by these freaks that look like they were designed by what's his name? Oh shit. Who's the guy who draws Hellboy? They totally look like something he would draw. Oh my god, it's on the tip of my tongue too. Michael Mignonia or something like that. Mick Mignonia? No, that's the voice actor. Something like that. Right. Also, oh, there's like these ads for this fake comic book that's very Jack Kirby-esque, right? Called The Atomic Rage, which is very similar to the Jack Kirby character Silver Star, which is basically like a Captain America, but if he had psychic powers. This is very similar to that, so I don't know if that was intentional or not. Also, the last story here is about, like, Frankie gets abducted by this this magician, and his two assistants, who turn out to be harpies, right? Yeah, and the last story is like 3 pages. It's basically, not 3 pages, but like, yeah, basically like, the Goon gets told by this psychic seal, right, that this alien gangster is coming to Earth to conquer everything, and they learn, the Goon and Frankie learn the alien a thing or two about internal bleeding. The quote. Also, sorry, there's a reference to, like, they kill the alien actually with a water barrel. So it's kind of like they kind of reference the M. Night Shyamalan film. What's it called? Signs. Which the plot twist in that is that the aliens in that movie were actually demons. Not a lot of people get that, but that's why, like, water works on them, right? So yeah, overall, this is a horror comedy action book with a 1930s aesthetic, right? And if that sounds awesome to you, I would check this out. Which I really enjoyed this book. I thought the humor was funny. The action was good, lots of action. But story structure, not so much happens, right? But because it's very episodic, but once in a while, it's like the X-Files, where most of the show is like Monster of the Week, but once in a while, there'll be an episode where, like, Mulder is close to learning something about the aliens that, like, kidnapped his sister. Which is kind of like that here, where, like, once in a while the zombie priest will show up, right? Yeah, so I don't know, I would give this a 7 out of 10. But, like, just like in the first volume, there's animal abuse. So if you're not a fan of animal abuse, I would say it's not too bad. But a guy did hit hit a dog over the head with a hammer, and Frankie punched the psychic seal because it was annoying the shit out of him. So my next review for Halloween month, which is going to be on Monday, which is Canadian Thanksgiving, is Batman Unseen by Doug Moench and Kelly Jones. So it's basically, this book is basically Batman versus the Invisible Man, which you can see him there. Yeah. So I don't know. Check that review out. And I was going to review. I watched Pokémon 3 the movie thanks to this Blu-ray collection. And I don't know, I enjoyed the movie, but like it was not as good as I remembered, and the ending was kind of boring because it was like Ash Ash's Pokemon was ineffectual against the psychic constructs made by the unknown Pokemon, which is like the ancient Pokemon that are like made after like an alphabet, right? So like, okay, I should start with the story. The story is basically about you have this girl named Molly whose father's an archaeologist. Archaeologist. Fuck, am I pronouncing that right? He's a professor, right? And he was taught by Professor Oak, right? And he's friends with Ash's mom, right? And there's even a picture of Molly and her dad like visiting Pallet Town, right? With Ash's family and Professor Oak, except for Ash's dad. Which did they ever show who Ash's dad is? Right. So basically, the story is basically this. Molly is the daughter of this professor who studies ancient Pokemon like the unown and Entei there, right? Entei being like the legendary lion Pokemon, I think it is, right? And basically, her father goes to look for the unknown and gets kidnapped by them. And the unknown visits Molly, who's depressed that her dad's gone, and basically tries to make her happy by bringing back her dad, who is Entei, who's voiced by like Dan Green, who voiced her dad, right? And because like her dad would pretend to be Entei and give her daughter his daughter like a ride on his back, right? So that's why like when she wants her dad back, she thinks of her dad as Entei, right? And the unknown turns like her mansion in Greenfield into like this crystal field, right? That's spreading, right? And Ash and the gang were close by, and they were heading to like the Pokemon Center after a battle, which happened in like the introduction of the film. To go, they were heading to like the Pokemon Center that's over Greenfield when they encountered the crystals, right? And Ash's mom heads there because she's worried about Molly, right? And gets kidnapped by Entei, right? Because Molly wants a new mom, and she sees Ash's mom and is like, "Oh, I know her. She'll be my new mom." And like Entei kidnaps her. So Ash and the gang have to infiltrate the Crystal Castle, which is from like a storybook, right? So like the unknown can change reality, right? So they're making stuff from her imagination real, right? So like Ash and the gang go and go to rescue his mom, and they encounter Molly, who when she sees Ash catch him and his Pokemon, which this takes place around the time when Gen 2 was a thing, so you see like a lot of Gen 2 Pokemon, right? Generation 2, like Pokemon from like silver and gold version, right? Which I have a silver somewhere, right? And yeah, so like they have like you have like Pokemon battles where like she has like Pokemon that are brought to life by the unknown, and they trash Misty and Brock's Pokemon because the Pokemon because they're like created by the unknown. They're basically like unstoppable, right? They're as strong as Molly wants them to be, right? So that's where the movie gets kind of boring because it's like because even Charizard sees on TV that Ash is in trouble and heads to Greenfield to save Ash, right? And he has trouble against the fake Pokemon created by the unknown, right? Which is Entei and the other Pokemon that she has, right? So like they basically have to convince her to basically come get away from this place. You know, you gotta stop the fighting. This is, you know, hurting Pokemon is bad, right? And there's like a scene where like Entei's about to kill Charizard, and like she stops him, right? Yeah. So like I don't know. I thought the movie overall was good, but it was like, man, it would have been nice if, you know, they didn't appeal to the emotions to win. The other like, you know, would have been nice to have just a kick-ass battle, which there are cool battles in this movie, but because, you know, like Ash can't win, it's kind of like, what's the point? But, you know, it was still a cool movie, and it does kind of have this creepy vibe to it because of the unown, which are CGI in the film, by the way, right? And the eerie Crystal Castle. Also, Team Rocket's in the movie, and they break the fourth wall. They make like reference jokes, and they don't really do much in the film at all, just to make jokes here and there. Though they do save like Ash from falling out of a window, right, or a hole in the wall that the Entei made. So they were somewhat useful in the movie. Though they didn't, I don't know. They had like a bigger part in the second film because they had like this heroic like sacrifice scene, right, in the second movie, and they're not like, you know, they're not as like, you know, useful in this movie. But it was still nice to see them, right? There's even a line in the movie where they're like, oh, like hopefully we'll have a bigger part in the next movie, which I can't remember if they did. And I watched Pokemon Forever recently too. Not recently, it was like a year or two ago, right? Yeah. So I don't know. Overall, I thought the movie was good, but not as good as like the second or third one, which sucks because I remember Pokemon 3 the movie being like one of my favorites. But I would say the first three Pokemon are great movies, and this is worth checking out. But I do have a problem with this release because if you're around my age and you went to go see these movies when they were in theaters, by the way, you would know they would have these like Pikachu shorts, right? And that was to pad out the length of the film, because these movies are only like an hour and 10 minutes. I think this one's like an hour and 13. So it's like not barely theatrical length. So when they took out the shorts, they made it so it's like no longer theatrical length. So like those shorts had a purpose, and they took them out from this release, which I'm pissed off about that, right? Especially since I had the VHS collection, and they came with the shorts, right? So it's like, what the fuck, man? So I don't know, man. If I would say these movies are worth watching, but it sucks that the people who released these movies didn't have the you know, the Pikachu shorts, which I had. I think I had the DVD for the Pokemon Forever movie, and that had like a short, but that was in the extras. So I don't know if that came with the movie when it first released, because I didn't see the fourth one in theaters. I don't even think the fourth one got a theatrical release in the States. Sorry, in the West. Yeah, but that's it for this. I would say it's like, oh, this was a 7 out of 10. I would say this is like a 6.5. Still worth watching, but, you know, I think Pokemon 2000, Pokemon the first movie were better movies, but, you know, Pokemon 3 is still worth watching. So that's it for this review, guys. Peace. Oh, make sure to check out Goon Volume